Welcome back. I'm Pat, and this is another story from the family records. Every episode features a new album we randomly pull from the collection. Make sure to become part of the family by subscribing and ringing the bell. That way you never miss the needle drop. Today's album doesn't come from one particular artist, but several. It's a compilation album released in 1970 by Atlantic Records. And while there are several songs to tell stories about, the format of the album challenges the format of this series. How can I tell a singular story about an album composed of several different albums, each with their own story to tell? Instead of a detriment, I see this as an opportunity to do something a little different today and talk about some broader concepts around music promotion and popularity. Let's drop the needle on. The Age of Atlantic. The Age of Atlantic was the second in a trilogy of rock music samplers released by Atlantic Records in the UK. Preceded by Atco Blockbusters in 1969, The Age of Atlantic debuted in 1970. The compilation is credited to Janet Martin, and the album was sold for 99 pence. Because of this price point, it served as an inexpensive introduction to new rock acts for many people. Featuring music from Led Zeppelin, Buffalo Springfield, Dada, Dr. John, the Allman Brothers Band, and yes, among others, the album covers a variety of sounds and was one of the earliest samplers of progressive or underground music. Definitely, track to track, you get a great mix of music and musicians, from more jazz-inspired to heavier metal compositions. Before we break down some of the ideas around compilation albums, I want to quickly touch on the album art, which was modeled in plasticine. Its front shows the logos or punning representations of the featured bands, with the album covers depicted in the interior panels. The rear features the track listings scratched into a flattened layer of plasticine, and the design is credited to Hamish and Gustav. With the hard facts about the album covered, let's get into more general concepts around compilation albums, which at this point in time were a totally new idea as far as I can tell. I feel like the next big iteration on this would come when tape players became popular and people began creating mixtapes of their favorite hits. But let me know in the comments if I'm missing something on the timeline here that's important. Of course, this compilation was more carefully curated than a personal mixtape. Where the goal of a mixtape is to put together all your favorite music, I suspect the label had a different objective in mind: sell more albums. Without pulling up the album sales personally, I imagine bands like Led Zeppelin had a bit more moving power than ones like Cold Blood. Putting them together on an album wouldn't hurt Zeppelin's popularity, and it might just boost the reach of some of the other groups by association. And this album definitely reflects where the music industry was moving. Less about complete albums and more about popular singles that catch on and sell units. I mean, certainly listening to this compilation album now, the Led Zeppelin songs hit hard. Whole Lotta Love and Communication Breakdown, they're both massive tracks, and both raise the energy of the album. I'm certain that their inclusion was a big selling point for many people. Music has always been tied into social aspects of humanity, from making music together around a fire, to dancing together in a club, to sharing tracks we find personally profound in order to express something to another human being. These days, music can live or die by its social capital. Songs associated with video sharing platforms become massive simply by meme association. A good recent example of this would be someone like Ice Spice. Comment down below though if you think I'm wrong about that. At the end of the day, the goal of creating anything is to have it be seen and hopefully enjoyed by others. There have always been gatekeepers: record labels, movie studios, publishing houses. And there have always been artists who broke through regardless. These days, there are more avenues than ever to get creations out into the hands of consumers, like every one of you who watches this video through this platform. Thank you for giving my creations an audience and a home. Okay, and everything is rolling here for the goodbye thoughts. So here we are with the goodbye thoughts, starting with the weather. It's been beautiful the last almost week now. We're Tuesday when I'm recording this. Friday was when the rain broke. So it's been a nice little stretch here, and it looks like we're going to have more great weather all the way to Friday. So yeah, and speaking of it being Tuesday, I'm still staying ahead, a little less ahead than I thought I would be. I thought I would be recording this on Monday, but ended up just meeting up with a bunch of people on Monday, and so I got everything written but didn't have time to record. But yeah, everything going really good here. I'm going to start working on my sandwich series probably Wednesday. Those will be out like this weekend, I think. So I'll have more stuff on my second channel. Make sure to check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, lots of good stuff coming. I'm excited about it. Lots of stuff coming for me also, just in terms of this weather being so nice. I was planning on getting out on my bike yesterday. Didn't happen. My friend Monica, she just didn't have she couldn't find her helmet, so we couldn't go out. But she came over, we hung out for a bit. But yeah, definitely a bunch more bike rides this year, turning those into as much content as I can. We'll see what happens, but I think there's going to be some good opportunities just to find some interesting stuff and bike to some cool places that you wouldn't normally get to. So, and I'll always bring the camera with me and have that going. So we'll see what we find, but there'll be something good. Ottawa's a great city for biking around in, and really good, really solid bike infrastructure. So definitely, I'll find something interesting. Who knows what? Yeah. Finally, the backyard, which I'm starting to get a bit anxious about because every day that goes by, it feels like I'm just getting further and further behind, and the weeds get further and further ahead, and everything that I want to do. Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of work to go on back there, and we're already decently into May, so I got to figure out what I'm going to do, and also what I'm going to shoot back there. Maybe time lapses? I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what's going to be interesting content, right? But I got to get into my yard work this week. Hopefully today, we'll see. I figure after this, I gotta do some editing, and I gotta probably work on another album. We'll see. But yeah, backyard. There's a bunch of stuff that I gotta do back there. So, and honestly, man, I don't know. Like I feel like the last couple of days of these, like my final thoughts have kind of been just blabbing because my brain has been blank. I don't know. I felt like I haven't really had any like good thoughts to share with you guys, but I don't know what else is going on. My eyes fucking poofy. It feels something's wrong with it. It's like got an irritation or something, so that sucks. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what else to go over, I haven't really been doing anything special or unique recently. Just working on the series mostly. Got another show coming up next Friday that I'm going to go and work and do some work there. Doing some reporting work this time. So all my reporter homies, shout out. Just got to go and talk to some club kids. So that'll be interesting. That should be fun. I'll just draw on all my experience and watching former colleagues solicit interviews from people and stuff. I'm not concerned about it. It'll be fine. And hopefully, the thing is, like, once you sort of get a couple people, like, people want to do it. So hopefully people will see me talking to some people that we've already got lined up, and then that will encourage more people. But ideally, like, my goal is, like, I'm going to talk to about 10 people that night in 5 hours? 4 hours? 4.5 hours? So 10 people in 4.5 hours. So that's actually not crazy. That's like a couple people an hour kind of deal. So we'll see what happens. But hopefully it's a good mix, good stories. Yeah, I don't know. This feels like so unhinged today, just in terms of like my rambling. Like I just really don't know. Did you notice yesterday that I didn't flip the album around? It was always face forward. I don't know. I messed that up. And then once I realized, I was like, well, I'm not flipping it back around. Like, what's the point? And the front cover wasn't really too crazy anyway. So, yeah. All right, that's it. I'm gonna stop rambling because you probably already turned this shit off already. But if you made it somehow to the end through all of my nonsensical talking, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. All those things help the channel. Every day we're growing. Every time I see a new member, awesome. Appreciate it. Love you guys. Thank you so much. I will be back with another album on Friday. Take care.